welcome back to Annie's bedroom. If you've been following along, her and her husband Mitch just purchased their very first home, and this is their bedroom, and it is in dire need of some coziness and some character. I think this home was built sometime during the 70s, but just before they purchased it, a developer came in and just completely stripped this place of all of its character and flipped it into the like quintessential millennial gray home of no one's dreams. So last time we were over here, I gave this room a $0 makeover just to see what we could do with the items that they already have, and also do some simple decluttering, reorganization, and cleaning. They are loving the transformation so far. It has been a huge upgrade from where they started, but there's still so much more to do in here because finishing that makeover gave us a brand new list of things that we need to address in here. So the goal now is to transform this gray-white box of a room into a space that feels vintage and charactered and storied, while working with her budget and making the room feel personal for her growing family. So let's get into it and see what I come up with. Okay, so the first place we need to start here is with these walls. I think they just need a fresh coat of paint, and I really want to bring in more of a bright neutral color, like a creamy white. I came over here yesterday and went through a ton of these paint samples just to try to see what matched with what she already has in the room. The items that we have to keep are the brand new king size bed frame, the rocking chair, the red dresser, and it has to stay red, the red rug, and we have to work with the flooring because that's staying for now. Despite this room having really big windows that bring in some really nice light, the really boring millennial gray walls are just making this room feel so dark. So I think changing these walls is going to be a huge improvement and immediately change the whole look and feel of this room. So I spent a couple hours going through a ton of different white swatches, and I think I finally landed on this one. It's called Painter's Canvas by Behr. It's a really creamy white with a nice yellow undertone, and with all the sunlight that comes in this room, I think it's just gonna really brighten up this space, and I think it's gonna really mesh well with the warmer wood tones and the red colors in here that are so prominent. Okay, I'm taking a break from the painting because it is still hot in October. It's like 91 degrees today. I don't know what is going on, but we have all the windows open to just like air it out. So I'm just gonna take a beat and then get right back to it and try to finish all of the painting in a couple hours. Every home should have their own signature white. I personally use cottage white and sometimes go a little bit more yellow with moon gaze. And it took me forever to choose those colors. It was truly based on the light that comes into my home because every white has some color underneath it. Some are more pink or brown or gray or yellow. So my cottage white might look more blue or yellow in your home depending on your lighting or the colors around it. So if you've been thinking about painting your walls, I would definitely start with finding your signature white, and then you can always choose another color down the road. Okay, I don't know how long it's been for you, but it feels like hours for me, and I'm sure painting a room white is not riveting content for you guys. So I'm gonna power through, finish this room tonight, let it air out, and hopefully it's in a better spot tomorrow morning, and we'll get started on phase 2. Okay, it's day 2, and I think we were painting for like 6 or 7 hours until late in the night. I did not realize that room was that big, and I'm so happy to be done with it because I am so sore and my skin is run down. But today we have a whole huge big project to do as well. So before we do that, I just want to take a few minutes for myself and to thank the sponsor of today's video, Typology. If you don't know, Typology is not makeup. It's actually tinted skincare that is made with clean and minimal ingredients in France. When they reached out to send me some products to try out and offered to sponsor sponsor this video. I was so happy because I've actually been a fan of Typology for years now. I've used their toner and I have their hydrating cleansing milk and some of their glow drops, which help kind of just highlight certain areas of my face. But my go-to day-to-day items are the tinted trio, which is basically the tinted lip oil, the tinted serum, and the tinted concealer. So when I'm getting ready in the morning, I cleanse my face with this hydrating cleansing milk, and then I just put on my daily sunscreen, of course. And then I also put on this tinted serum, which basically I just do a little bit. You don't really need a lot. They have really nice coverage. And I just kind of tap it in like this in order to kind of just get it everywhere all over my face. This serum is so lightweight and it's formulated with vitamin C, squalane, and aloe vera, so it just feels really fresh and light on the skin. As you can see, I just think it evens my skin tone and just kind of highlights my natural complexion, which is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not a huge makeup girly. I then go in with this tinted concealer. So I use a shade that's just one shade lighter, and I literally use this much. It's just a light dab here, a light dab here, maybe some here where I have some like old acne scars. And then again, I just kind of dab in where I can. And the concealer specifically is formulated with caffeine and niacinamide, which is great to help reduce puffiness and dark circles instantly and over time. So I feel like I already look so much more fresh and revitalized. And then I finally go in with my tinted lip oil, which is in the color Black Cherry. I think this one just kind of highlights again my natural lip color. So I just do a couple dabs on my lip and a couple dabs on my cheek because I think this is just kind of like a nice natural blush. And this is formulated with vitamin E and jojoba oil. So it's not really sticky. It's super smooth and nourishing, which is why I don't mind putting it on my cheeks, because I feel like it just kind of brings some life back into my face. So as someone who's not hugely into makeup, I love Typology because they are skincare first, while also giving you that nice little visual boost. So right now, Typology has an exclusive offer through my link. When you spend over $40, you get a free hydrating cleansing milk, which is super awesome. But it's a very limited time offer exclusively through my link for a week after this video has been posted, so go get it while you can. And thank you so much to Typology for supporting this channel and my skin. Now let's get back to Annie's bedroom. So far, I am loving the color in here. I'm now wondering though, if we should paint the trim and the doors a nice complementing color. I wouldn't do anything like contrasting, maybe just like one tone deeper or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to talk to them about it to see if that's what they want, because the white does feel quite bright white. However, it is still looking so much better than the gray. But for now, I really do think that the paint color in here is just a huge improvement and has created a really nice blank canvas for us to start really making a change in here. So this is our finalized mood board that we came up with, and mainly they really love a good vintage or antique room. So anything from like a Victorian home to a craftsman home, all the way up to like a mid-century modern home, which is just to say that they really love architectural details and character and wood. Additionally, our finalized color palette is incorporating the things that we need to keep in this room, like the red dresser and red rug, as well as the dark walnut bed frame, and then of course the painter's canvas on the walls. But we also want to bring in some of these like nice darker greens and potentially bring in some of these blues just to give a nice contrast. So my big idea to bring in wood and warmth and character in a big impactful way, hopefully on a budget, is to add in some like faux craftsman wainscoting along the walls here, maybe like a third way up. I think the craftsman style or mid-century modern style is so appropriate for this home and just this area in California in general. So I ordered some of this bamboo pole wrap off of Amazon. I purchased this before for my sister-in-law's bathroom and she loved it and I loved it. It's really easy to work with and it stains really nicely. And I know that because I also put it in my primary bathroom and I just think it's a really minimal touch. So all I need to do is measure how far up the wall I want this and then decide on an eye line. And based on the fact that we have this little eye line underneath the window and then the eye line, which is the headboard, and then the eye line right here, that's the outlet, they're all pretty much like 38 inches up from the baseboard. So I think that's what we're gonna focus on, is trying to make an even line all the way across the room. So the first thing that I want to do is stain all of these panels because I'm sure the walls are not level or square. So I'll have to cut these down as I go. To
Typically you want to cut everything down first and then stain it as like your finishing touch. But I'm staining things here first because I don't want the room to smell really bad for Annie or her family. So I want to just get these all stained right away and then have them dry out and air out outside before I bring them in. And then if I have to do little tiny touch-ups after I cut, I think it won't be that big of a deal or be that intense smelling.
Okay, so while I let all of those dry outside, which shouldn't take too long considering it's very hot, I'm gonna come in here and address the closet doors. So one thing that Annie and Mitch told me in the very beginning that they absolutely hate about this room is that because they want their bed oriented underneath this one window, it completely faces these mirrored closet doors. And I don't really know too many people who love a mirrored closet door, but it is helpful for seeing like your full body outfit. Other than that, sitting in the bed at night when it's dark, it's kind of creepy and nobody wants it. So we want to do something to change that. So let's get started. I just need to clean off these doors.
So I think the most affordable way we can fix these doors is putting some reeded glass film on them. I have never used this 2D version. I had one that was a little bit more 3D and tactile in my breakfast nook, and those doors were transparent so you could see through them. So I've never even put this on a mirror. So I have no idea what it's going to look like on a mirror, but I think it might have an interesting effect. So after cleaning it and rolling it out and taking off the little film, I just sprayed it down with some soapy water per the instructions and then pulled it taut, and then just use the squeegee to pull out all of the water and soap. And once it dries, it actually just clings to the mirror. And then I just did my best to squeegee around the little handle that was not removable and just use a little X-Acto knife with a brand new blade to cut around it very carefully so that I could just take off this little rectangle piece so it would look pretty seamless.
Okay, I think these turned out really good. They kind of have like a metal vibe to them and not so much a reeded glass. But beyond that, I think it's time to finally get started at least with one panel that's dry. So I'm just gonna start cutting and see if I can continue this all around the room.
So I sped this up about 8 times because it was so hard to cut through because I was cutting through the entire roll versus when I did this in my sister-in-law's bathroom makeover, I only used like half the roll. So it was easier to use a handsaw. So if you don't have a miter saw, you can definitely cut it by hand, but it just takes quite a while and a lot of effort. The advantage of this bamboo wainscoting is that it is very lightweight, so you could just easily hold it up with a brad nail, so I suppose this could be renter friendly.
Okay, well, it looks good so far. Just need to finish around the corner.
I found the easiest way to go around outlets is to measure basically how many slats an outlet is. So it ended up being about 3 slats. So we just cut off the excess here and then we cut out 3 pieces and just put those off to the side and just use that as a spacer to then continue with the excess wainscoting.
Look at the precision. So good.
I priced out doing this with real wood and it was gonna cost over $1,000, so we saved so much money by only buying 4 rolls of this.
So this piece is pretty uneven just because this wall is like off center, so I'm gonna have to figure out like maybe a custom piece to fit in there.
I also need to come out here and stain some trim. I got 4 or 5 pieces that I'm going to just finish the top with, and I think I'm gonna stain them with the same honey color that I stained the bamboo with. They're different types of wood, so they're probably gonna come out a little bit different, but I think overall it's gonna look pretty good. I pushed the bed back to the wall just to see where this was gonna land.
because I don't have enough pull wrap to go all the way around. I only purchased 4 rolls because that's all I had on the budget, honestly, and this is actually a surprise feature for Annie and Mitch. So if I kind of cheat a little bit and don't put any pull wrap behind the headboard, considering this is where the bed's gonna live, I can continue it across this wall here. So I'm just going to cut in a little of the pull wrap and stop there, and then cut in a little bit of the pull wrap and stop there. So this whole section won't have any pull wrap. And if they get a new bed and want to move it, I can always come back and put more, but this kind of helps us with our issue of not being able to reach all the way over here and saves us some money for the meantime. Now that I have most of the walls covered, I need to work on these custom pieces. So what I was thinking is
I can hold up these slats here next to the outlet and then turn it over and just use a pen to mark where the outlet is, and then just cut it out with some scissors and brad nail the 2 separate pieces in. And once I put the outlet cover on top, it should be pretty seamless. And with any of these gaps, I'm probably just going to fill them with some stainable wood filler.
This has taken quite a few hours, but I think it's finally done. I just need to cut some little weird trapezoid pieces to fit where the wall isn't plumb, and then put some trim on the top. But I think before I end my day, I do want to try to change out the lights in here. I did find some lights. One is an old light from my West Hollywood apartment, and another one is one I found online, and hopefully that will just completely change the whole feeling of the room, and then I'll follow up with you guys on day 3. So I got this really cool mirrored chrome sconce that's indoor outdoor, and you can flip it upside down or right side up. I thought it was really minimal and modern, and it would really fit this space right here because it's so small. But it looks like some of the plastic that was on it ripped off the mirrored chrome part, or it's just a lot of sticky stuff. So I'm gonna have to return this and find something else, or just get a new one. Okay, I'm loving how far along this room has come, and honestly the wainscoting is really what delineated these 2 spaces in here. This little dresser area now feels separate than the sleeping and bed area. It just feels a little bit more organized and functional. Earlier this morning, I came over to just do some touch-ups of some paint, and I also added the trim on top of the wainscoting. So after staining them, I used 5 total trim pieces to finish off this entire area, and just used my nail gun to secure them on the wall and just hide the little top edge, so it just feels a little bit more finished and complete.
I think what really completed this and made it look authentic is I used a beveled miter. So this is like what you do with crown molding. You're mitering at 45 degrees, but the entire blade is also beveled at 45 degrees. And it makes a really nice seamless corner.
Mentioned to you, I didn't have enough wainscoting to go all the way around behind the headboard.
But because each roll needed to be trimmed down to fit the 38 inches, I thought I might as well use the offcut pieces to just put up here behind the headboard. So just in case it shifts from left to right or front and back a little bit, it looks like there's wainscoting. I also had the trim go on top of this as well, so it looks even more realistic. In a perfect world, I would have bought another roll, but this saved us $100.
I also finished installing the lights this morning because I had some issues last night. As I mentioned, the sconce that I got just showed up looking really weird, but I just needed to cover it in some Goo Gone and it totally cleaned off. So I just finished installing it this morning. I really like it because it looks super mid-century and space age, and it just provides like some additional lighting and just a light spotlight. And it's small enough to fit into that space without having to cap it off. I think the more little sources of light that we can include in here, the better. And it's just gonna create a cozier vibe. So they don't have to use the recessed lighting on the ceiling or bring in just really bright lighting. So today my goal is to continue delineating the two spaces, and I thought one really great thing to do would be to put down a rug underneath the dresser here. I love the color of it. I originally wanted to have a rug that was a giant square to cover up more of the flooring, but the more that I thought about it, having a defined walk space around the bed and to the bathroom door made more sense. And this also makes this area feel more like a dressing space. This is their Judy rug. It's so soft. It actually is 58% jute and 42% cotton. So now even if the rug moves a bit, it's pretty stuck in the same position. So I think this placement makes the most sense. It's just centered on the wall here and not really centered on the window or on the rug. And I think it just really warms up this entire corner here. So this looks great. And then I want to really change out the knobs here because this is just giving IKEA, and I want to see if we can elevate it.
So I thought I would change out the top 4 knobs with something that had some wood on it to bring over the wood from the wainscoting in the bed area, especially since these top 4 drawers are different shape and size. And then I'm just using these really cool simple chrome knobs on the bottom. I really wanted to flip this dresser and put some handles on it, but Annie really wanted to keep it the way it was, so I am just giving it a little facelift.
I know this is technically still an IKEA dresser, but it does look a little bit better with these new knobs on it. I think it just kind of has more of that mid-century feel, and I really like it a lot. So I want to move on to putting up a full body mirror in here because I covered up their mirror doors so they don't have to look at themselves at night. And I found one on Facebook Marketplace. They were advertising a garage sale and I got it for $50, which is actually a pretty good deal for this size mirror. Bringing in another warmer tone of wood, but just in different shade, which is bringing some more variation into this room. So this is like an official dressing area now that there's a mirror here with a little carpet and the dresser, and it's right next to the bathroom. So I don't know if I told you guys already, but Annie is expecting her second baby in April, I think next year. So we do want to keep the rocking chair in the room. So I think right now this area is going to be perfect for that. So I think because the chair is kind of on the rug, it makes it feel like it's part of this space. So I'm kind of liking this here, but I might move it. I think it's probably the best spot for it, as we know that that area is just too crowded. So we'll have to see how the rest of the room plays out. For now, I really like this though. I think this is looking really good. I also found this shelf on Facebook Marketplace, and I thought this would be the perfect size for Annie to put more of her potted plants. Plus, it's gonna get hit with tons of light coming through the windows that are directly across from it.
So Annie and Mitch had these mismatched nightstands that were somewhat similar in shape and size, so they definitely worked, but they didn't like the open storage on the bottom, and they just didn't have enough surface space or storage in general.
So I wanted to show you these. I just found these on Facebook Marketplace. I thought these were so cool, and they brought in some more warm wood tone in a different shade, and I really think they sell that mid-century modern vibe. They've got like this nice creamy glass top, and I don't really love these, so I found some on Amazon that I want to to try to replace them with just to elevate them a bit, but I thought that these would look really great on either side of the bed. The best part about these is they have so much surface space for a lamp and everything else that they want on top, and then they have closed storage, so they have plenty of storage for whatever they need in the future. As you know, one of them was pretty beaten up from the dogs, so they're gonna be such an upgrade for them. These are so pretty and really nice. I love like the tapered handle, and they just feel really heavy and super high end. So I think these are a massive upgrade compared to these ones that came on it. So this is a bench from World Market. I think it's called the Donatella bench, and it's all fabric, and it's kind of this like green tweed material. It's so pretty. And you know, Annie and Mitch really love green, but they also needed some additional storage for linens and things like that. And so this has tons of storage. You can put a bunch of stuff in here. And I think this is so cool. It gives them some extra seating next to the bed. Mitch can sit here and talk to Annie in bed after she's had her second baby, or where their other toddler can come sit and read or something like that. And this will just give them some extra storage and some nice color and texture in the room.
So Annie and Mitch only recently upgraded to this king size bed and didn't have the proper size duvet, and they didn't really have a nice sheet set. So we really needed to get something to upgrade their sleeping experience and also hide some of the storage underneath the bed.
I do want to try to change the bedding before I move on to the next project here, just to see if the bench and the bedding and everything else is like looking good together, especially with the rug. I think you can see here after I've removed all of the blue and the orange, it can lean a little Christmassy, especially with the bench. And it's also just a bit too monotone with the warm wood and the red. So we do need to add some kind of dimension in here. So first I want to just start with a simple base. These are from IKEA, and they're very, very soft and cool, because I think everyone has to have at least one set of crisp white sheets, because it just feels so nice and clean, and it's a really easy base to mix with. So they picked out this comforter before they left, and you can tell immediately that it fits the bed so much better. I told them that they needed a new one because the last one was too small, and this one is perfect. So I'm gonna add a duvet to it. I got all their bedding from IKEA. This is their Sol Flibba duvet, and it comes with 2 pillowcases, and it's got just like a nice light blue kind of denim colored pinstripe on this really soft material. I actually have this duvet in the beige color. It's so pretty, and it's really, really soft and wears really nice over time. So I think this still brings out the blues that are in the rug, but it fits really nicely. It's super simple. I also picked up this big extra large lumbar pillow from Target. It's the Casa Luna one. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of it, but I do like the color combo. It kind of brings the green over here in a different shade, but I might still look for something else. And that color is in the rug, so I thought it would look kind of nice, but it's kind of lopsided, so I don't love it. But I do think it's a cleaner look than the 2 orange pillows, and allows the rug and the wall to kind of shine. But before I choose a new pillow, I want to show you the quilt I picked up for this bed. I think it's just going to continue to layer like more texture and pattern and color. Really love this. I think it's coming together. If you don't see it yet, you have to wait till the room is finally done to maybe get the vision. I want to follow up with you guys in the morning with hopefully some more daylight so I can show you the completed look. I'm picking up 2 side table lamps tonight from Facebook Marketplace that I think are just really going to finish the look in this bed area. And I think they're just a little bit more of an upgrade from what we found for the $0 makeover. So tomorrow we're going to do all the finishing touches, and I'll show you the final look. So I'll see you then. All Alrighty, it's the next day. I've only really had a month to like pull this together and find most of this stuff secondhand, but I think it's all coming together now that I'm bringing more of it in here. I'm also loving the quilt here. I think I'm gonna get one of these for myself, honestly. And I really like that it's long enough that it's covering the bottom of the bed frame. So if they wanna put more stuff underneath the bed for storage, this will hide all of that visual clutter, which is great. And it just makes the bed feel so much more textured and layered. I think the one thing I'm not loving that probably you guys are feeling too is that this is just kind of a lumpy lumbar pillow and I don't really like it. So I ordered another one. Hopefully it gets here in time. Let's keep going. There's tons more to do. Okay, these are the lamps. I love them so much. They really just complete this whole space. I just think that they needed something a little bit less office-like in here. They're genuinely mid-century. I got them for $48 each, which is such a steal considering a pair of lamps is so expensive usually. It's looking so good over here. And I have one more piece of furniture in here that I want to bring in.
This is a craftsman style table that I got on Facebook Marketplace for only $40. And I love that the wood tone really matched the wood tone on the nightstands. Her and I talked about bringing in another piece of furniture so that she could just have another place to store her plants
or just have like, you know, a surface area to set things down. So I want to see how this looks with some plants on it, but I don't want to ruin the top in case she does want to just use it as a plant table. So I was going to cover it with some of this peel and stick marble paper. So this will be a nice addition to protect the table and just add additional like, you know, color and texture over here. I found this mid-century bullet planter stand at the antique store for only $15 because it didn't have a planter in it. But I think this plant pot is the perfect shape to fit in here. Hopefully this perks up as well, but I think this is a good fit and kind of an interesting look in the corner here just to add some more height. My partner was helping me repot some of these plants and put them into new pots that Annie just had lying around the property. So we just added some new soil and then some of these pea pebbles on top as just kind of like a mulch basically. It helps keep the moisture in and it just looks a little bit nicer than just having open dirt. You can pay a little bit more to have different colored pebbles or different sizes, but for a $6 bag at Home Depot, I think this still does the job. So she's always wanted a TV in here, but there's really no spot for one. And she really wanted to watch movies and stuff, especially next year when she's going to have her new baby. She's going to spend a lot of time in here. So I got a projector gifted to me and I'm going to give it to them. And then I'm going to put up a little Fönsterblad IKEA shade here, which is like my little hack for having a cheaper and easy to pull down projector screen. Because this isn't motorized as it's a very affordable IKEA hack and they're not as tall as me, I got them this Riktig pole thing that has like a little hook on it. And then it comes with this little thing that you can screw into the wall and you can just like hold it there. Or you can just store it under your bed or something or in the bench. But now they can use this and like extend it as much as they want and just pull it down with this stick. So it's a lot easier to reach. I will link this projector in the description below, but it's basically a Roku projector with some Dolby audio. And what's cool about it is on the bottom, it's got a screw. So you can either attach it to a tripod or you can hang it upside down from the ceiling, which is what I'm going to recommend to them. And then the picture will just flip in the settings. So I have it plugged in right here. Now it is down on the lower half of the screen here, and if they wanted to move it up, they could just move the projector into a different location. I could potentially like create a shelf here as well, but I don't know if they want that, so I'm gonna let them just like figure out what makes the most sense for them. There's also a ton of different things that you can sign into on here, so whatever they have a login for, they can just log into it here.
In terms of art, I wanted to save some money and use what they already have. So I brought over my framing wire and I just took off the old string that was too long and put on a new one. And I love this string because it's really easy to work with and super strong. And then you can put it back in the spool very easily.
So Annie got some of her family photos printed, so we're gonna put some in the frame and surprise her with ones we choose. So you're probably thinking about window treatments in here, and they already installed these. These are blackout shades because when they had a newborn, they needed to find time to sleep. And so they want to keep these in here, but I was thinking of getting something to put over the top of them. So I sent them a few options and some fabric samples. And so I'm not sure if we'll get to that in this video, but honestly, they don't need privacy or shade because they have these and it's pretty private where they're at. So I think right now it's like really not a priority. And I think so much in the room is adding so much character and texture. It's not going to detract if we don't have them there. Okay, before I show you the final shots of this room so you can see it in its entirety, let's just take a moment to remember what this room used to look like back in September. And then what it was transformed into with just $0. And now let's take a look at what this room has been transformed into. The room was in good shape after spending $0, but spending some money actually brought so much more into this room. The bench was definitely a necessary purchase because prior to this makeover, Annie and Mitch didn't really know how to utilize this room outside of sleeping. So they just used the room to store items that didn't really have an official home, which left them no room to get ready in the morning or store their everyday items like hats or kids' toys. And they didn't even really have a place to sit down and hang out, let alone watch a movie. But now it's a restful retreat with a lot of function, and they could all come in here and hang out with each other or just tend to their houseplants. And then I think all these little finishing touches like the stainless steel outlet and switch covers and the knobs and the handles just really finished the space off and made it feel a little bit more elevated. And I also tried to use a lot of Annie and Mitch's personal items like the map art and their plants and pots. And then I brought in some of the decor that they already had sitting around their home. So there were a lot of things that we did here to save some money so that we could spend where it counted. But now that they have all this storage, like the hooks on the wall and the bench and the extra drawers and the side tables, I think it's going to be a lot easier to keep this room tidy and organized. I think this room now gives Annie and Mitch a framework for how to design other rooms in their home. I might be able to do some more rooms in Annie's house in the future, so let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. If you like this video, then definitely give it a big thumbs up and check out my older content. I have tons of DIY projects and thrifting adventures, room makeovers, and tons of stuff to inspire you to make over your own home. Hopefully you guys enjoy your Thanksgiving if you celebrate, and other than that, I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.